And now we have Mr. Kevin Norris from UC San Diego that will talk about electric vehicle infrastructure at UC San Diego, just 5 miles from where we're sitting here in this studio. Kevin, the word is yours.
Greetings to all. Hope everybody's having a good day. Let's see if I can share my screen. Second to come up here. Can everybody see that? So my name's Kevin Norris, and I'm associate engineer at UC San Diego, where we have currently I'm in charge of installing and maintaining all the EV infrastructure on campus. We have currently around 300 level 2 charging ports and 10 DC fast chargers. And it's a 1,200 acre campus. And we're in the process of actually permitting right now to install an additional 15 DC fast chargers and 85 level 2s. Like I said, those are in permit right now. This slide is basically our mission to enable accessibility, affordability, and convenience to electrification of transportation in order to create maximum asset utilization of EV infrastructure, resulting in minimum carbon intensity. So basically, it's the best use of our infrastructure and the environment. The cost of infrastructure is just getting higher and higher. Trenching to install conduit, new chargers are more or have more ability to shave and adjust charging, so they're getting more expensive as well. So we have a program right now, so all new construction on campus will install 10% parking spaces for electric vehicle charging. Typically, code says it's just 6% make ready, but we're actually installing the chargers for 10%. Monetize the vehicle grid integration, benefit shape, shift, and shedding and shimming, generated by the innovative EV charging technologies and adaptive load management. So this is ease on the grid using innovative technology rather, sorry. This race chart, I think I can pull this up. I've had difficulties before. It just shows the historical performance from when we started. It's a nice little race chart that shows the progression of our kilowatt per hour in how much we've dispensed so far. Currently, we have around 1,700 unique EV drivers on campus monthly. And we have, like I said, 300 level 2s. So it's sometimes it can get really tight. People need to charge at workplace. And we have a strong need for people to charge on campus and not at home. Because during the daytime when at workplace, I'll get into this in a few more slides, that's when we have overgeneration of renewable energy. And so we'd like to take that renewable energy and put that into our vehicles at a prime time. So that's just a little race chart that we made to show our current up until last month, how much power that we've been dispensing, 1.3 gigawatt hours. So UC San Diego's 5-year performance history. This was so workplace and public EV charging. If you can notice the sharp decline right around COVID, we are coming back actually more than when we were before COVID. I'll show in the next couple of slides how it's interesting how how many new EV drivers we have on campus since COVID. This slide here is it's a pretty good slide showing the 5-to-1 ratio. For every one EV charger we put in, we get 5 new drivers. Like I said, we have 1,700 unique drivers. This is just ChargePoint data only. We have 2 other EV charging companies on campus for an additional 55 chargers. We don't have that data on this slide, but this is just ChargePoint. So it's pretty, it's kind of getting out of hand. We're running out of places to install chargers. So it's a goodish problem to have. When we first started this, it was build it and they'll come. And now we're just running around with our hair on fire trying to install enough charging for people on campus. Again, this is workplace and public. So I mentioned this a little while ago, 60% of pre-COVID EV drivers using around 250 charge points have not returned within the first 6 weeks of reopening. We opened this quarter in September. So 60%, and there's a theory on what that 60% is. Is it people that are installed home chargers during COVID? All staff is not completely back to work. Some are still working from home. Or did they turn in their EV and have a new vehicle? We're looking into that data right now. We should have that, at least something to report on that in the next couple of weeks. But anyways, 58% post-COVID energy is from inaugural year 21. So these are all new unique drivers to campus. 68% of the energy that's being used. If you look to the right on that grid there, that's showing we're beyond actually our previous months before COVID as far as energy usage. So 60% is using our new drivers. This next slide. So within 8 weeks of reopening, we rebound to increase 8% megawatt hours. And so in addition to the, I guess we're going to call it the previous drivers before COVID to now, we have to prepare for them. We think it's going to be about around 36% growth rate. So for that, we're going to be adding another 15 DC fast chargers and 85 level 2s. We also need to expand public off-peak utilization. Hopefully, and also improve the wait list and reservation. Offer of DC and valet parking. At our medical campus, we have valet parking for the hospital, the outpatient pavilion, the cancer center already. We're going to offer, when they valet their vehicles, to actually charge them up and see if there's some good incentive there to do that. Electrify UCSD fleet vehicles as well. We have around 55 electric vehicles on campus and around 300 NEVs. We're increasing that. We actually had a positive turnover from some of the maintenance and project managers when we took them out of their pickup trucks and put them into electric vehicles and NEVs. So basically, they're glorified golf carts with a cargo box on the back that they're driving around campus. And it's worked out very well. We're really excited that everybody has made that transition. Well, there's a few complainers, but all in all, we've taken out around 350 vehicles, pickup trucks, small cars, and replaced them with all electric. And then expand the dwell times on the flex charging. I'll get into that a little bit more in my next couple slides here. What we're trying to do is to get the charging within a certain time frame of day when there's overgeneration of renewable energy. This kind of goes into that, this slide here, shaping and shifting. My boss is trying to come up with a new phrase for that and see if it'll take. So what we need to do is, again, get people off the 4 p.m. to 6 a.m. when we have to start generators up to power up our houses and homes and businesses, and move that to the 6 a.m. to the 4 p.m. periods. We have a lot of PV generation and wind generation here in California, especially in San Diego. And we have an overgeneration. And my boss has this term he's called in, I guess the California Energy Commission has picked it up. It's called EV Happy Hour. And we're having discount rates for charging on our campus during the peak times. This is what I was talking about. So this came from California Energy Commission, and it's showing that we need to shift the electricity use from our dirty hours to the clean hours. This, if you look at that sweet spot, it's the 9 to 3 time frame. The megaton carbon megawatt hour. This is from the California Energy Commission. If we can move people to this designation in the springtime, that's the best optimal time. In between 9 and 3. And this is showing another grid, another graph from California Energy Commission. So this is a 15-minute period, and we need to move people from the upper left to the lower right, which is workplace. And every shift that we get out of this gray area here over to this blue area is the equivalent. In other words, we're charging over here when we have overgeneration. For every one driver we get to move over to this area, it's the equivalent of saving 4 gasoline fuel vehicles off the road. So that's key. It's not just what we do, it's how we affect others too. If we can get more vehicles involved. This is a heat map. So this is like no other heat map that we have that we know of, showing public workplace. If you can see that the intensity right in the middle of the day, the red marks there, those are the most intensive use that we have on campus. And then you see COVID, and it goes a little blue again. We're getting back to where we are, and we're encouraged by that. Hopefully we'll be there soon. So this slide here, there's a lot to look at here. This is results from CARB has a program called Low Carbon Fuel Standards. So CARB reimburses us up to it's about 19 cents a kilowatt hour for the energy that we're using. In addition to that, we're charging at the charger is 18 cents a kilowatt hour. That covers the cost of electricity that we have to pay. And what we're using with CARB is to pay back, is to install more infrastructure. Average payback from CARB is 19 cents a kilowatt hour. And this is something my boss helped set up with all 10 UC campuses. So we're now submitting this quarterly. You can see some of the numbers here. These are the numbers that we're getting back from CARB. And CARB has an index where I just showed previous, if we if we shift charging into that sweet spot that I mentioned earlier, there's a higher payback from CARB. So what we're doing with some of our, well, two of our companies right now is when you first plug in the morning, you go to your app, you'll tell us how full your battery is and when you need to leave and how far you're going at the end of the day. And the smart charger will be able to fill that up using power that's beneficial to everyone. So in the middle of the day. So if you plug in at 8 in the morning and you say you're going home at 5, you need to go 50 miles. The car will probably not start charging right away because we're waiting for that sweet spot in the afternoon. And if you have to leave an emergency, then there's basically a panic button where we will send all the power we can to the vehicle until you leave work and get to your vehicle to drive home or wherever the emergency is. So, but what we're trying to do is to put everything within the noon hours, basically noon to 2, 3, depending on the time of year. Not only do we capitalize on using all renewable energy, but we also get a higher incentive back from CARB. This is a spreadsheet showing our earnings from CARB starting from back in quarter of 2018. This is how many kilowatts were claimed rather. This is how much we were getting paid by then. Now, as you can see, we're getting into the sweet spots. So this quarter, first quarter of 21, we claimed 138,000 kilowatt hours at a little over 19 cents a kilowatt hour. So we have a check. We just have a check back from CARB for this much. That goes back into the system to install more. Like I said, the cost of everything is really going up high. We have a lot of grants that we've gone after. Cal EVIP, where we have another 6 sites that we're installing on campus through Cal EVIP. It's a 75-25 match. We have to come up with 25%. Cal EVIP pays for 75%. This is a good policy that we've been collaborating with LA City College on 10 campuses to each receive 40 level 2s and 2 DC fast chargers. That's per campus, 10 campuses. We are helping with data acquisition and crunching the numbers, splitting the task to increase accessibility, affordability, and convenience to historically underserved California communities, and also most negative impacted by the environment impacts from carbon-based transportation economies. These are all in disadvantaged communities and low income. This is funded by LADWP, and it's a sweet spot for us as far as age and ethnicity. These 10 campuses, this LA City College, these 10 campuses have more African Americans than all of our 10 UC campuses. So we have a great partnership with the charging company that's installing these and LADWP. These are some companies that we've been in collaboration with, partners around the world. And we're welcome to anybody else that would like to partner with us. We do a lot of energy storage as well.
You've got 2 minutes, Kevin.
Okay, sorry. We do a lot of energy storage research as well as EV charging. That's the key that we have right now. We're installing these, what we call EV plazas. They have DC fast charging, typically 2 DC fast chargers, 20 level 2s, and energy storage to help support that. And we're trying to do backup to the energy storage with renewable generators. So hopefully that will get us to where we want to go, the end game. And I will be, thank you all for your time. I will be around for questions.